The Mercedes-AMG E63's 4Matic Plus isn't quite the first production super-saloon to venture into 600-and-something horsepower territory. That accolade went, a couple of years ago, to the Cadillac CTS-V, but it's one whose arrival on UK roads still feels like a watershed moment, both for its maker and for its performance breed. The drivetrain alteration will allow AMG much greater penetration in what must be its biggest single market, the USA, where four-wheel drive remains the key to selling premium branded cars both on the eastern seaboard and elsewhere. The suspension change, meanwhile, should allow AMG to create a broader base of flexibility for the E63's ride and handling, letting it remain poised and under control even when driven at the limit of that 604 bhp, all-corner powertrain, but also to be more comfortable than in E63 thus far. This will be our first extended test of the car anywhere on the road, and our first real chance to investigate the latter part of that potential. Mercedes-AMG will offer the E63 in both regular form, 563 bhp, and as this more powerful S model, and with a choice of 4-door saloon or 5-door estate body styles. All models have a clutch-based four-wheel drive system that can send up to 100% of engine torque to either axle, and that works downstream of a 9-speed automatic gearbox. Opt for the E63S and you get access to a drift mode, through which you can effectively disengage the car's front drive shafts and return to AMG's traditional rear-wheel drive mechanical specification. However, as we'll get on to explaining, this mode is only accessible after much button pressing, and in quite particular circumstances. The E63's engine is breathtaking, wonderfully noisy, violent and more authentic sounding than so many modern piped-in V8s. Using twin-scroll turbochargers to produce its 604 bhp, it runs in an even more fierce specification here than in Mercedes-AMG's range-topping GTR two-seater sports car. And it's that torque peak of 627 pounds-foot, together with the unburstable traction provided by the car's drivetrain, that makes the E63 so rapid. Launch the car using the race start function and the driveline seems to hesitate for the briefest of instants as you lift your left foot off the brake pedal, as if deciding afresh every time exactly how many engine revs to use, how much torque to allow into the driveline in the opening split seconds of your run, how much to send to each axle, and finally, how to split what's under the loaded rear axle between the individual rear tires. Seems fair enough, there are a few sums to do there, after all. The E63's new powertrain is clearly one that can be enjoyed at almost any pace, in almost any place, and in any mode you fancy, though. But can the same be said of its chassis? I'm not so sure. While the car has abundant grip and stability, and quite startlingly flat and agile handling, it's plainly not as tactile, not as balanced or absorbing and not as supple riding on the road as the E63 used to be. AMG's new 3-chamber air suspension system ought to have put more notional distance between the car's comfort, sport, sport plus and race driving programs. Even in comfort, the E63S is very firm riding, both in town and on an averagely uneven back road. At motorway speeds and on smoother surfaces it feels more settled and calm, which will be good news to prospective owners planning to use the E63 as big, powerful saloons are most commonly used, to cover big distances. But such is the suspension's inability to isolate you from even the smallest ridge or lump in the road, a common thread of modern Mercedes-AMG saloons, to be fair, and not normally a bothersome one, and its restlessness over bigger bumps that you seldom have the patience to tolerate a firmer setting than is absolutely necessary for more than a mile or two. On a decent and dry surface, like a modern racing circuit, where you know there's nothing coming the other way, drift mode is every bit as much fun as you'd hope. The E63's sharpened handling agility makes for less initial understeer on the limit and, in spite of the directness of the car steering, its cornering attitude very quickly becomes as benignly adjustable as ever a powerful rear-wheel drive saloon's was.